In this video, we're going to focus on writing a quadratic function when we're given the x-intercepts of that function and then one additional point. So remember, we have three different forms of a quadratic function. We have our standard form, we have vertex form, and we have our intercept form. And because we're given the x-intercepts here, we're going to write our equations all in intercept form because we can put those intercepts directly into our equation. So remember, intercept form is y equals, we have our a value, and then we have x minus p and x minus q in parentheses being multiplied. Now remember, this minus p minus q, it really represents the opposite of your x-intercepts. That's why there's a subtraction there. So we're going to put the opposite of our x-intercepts in place of the p and in place of the q. So in this example, because we're given the x-intercepts, we're going to write our equation into intercept form. And remember that our equation is y equals a, and then x and the opposite of one of the intercepts in parentheses times x and the opposite of the other intercept in the other parentheses. And in order to write our equation, we need to find values for a, p, and q. So we need those values to substitute them in. So luckily, because we have our x-intercepts here, the 1, 0 and the 4, 0 are going to help us find two values in our equation. Remember, 1, 0 and 4, 0 are found in this equation by taking the opposite of our x-intercepts and substituting them in. So here we have y equals our a value, and then this first x minus p is really x and negative 1 together. It's the opposite of 1. So it's x minus 1 in the first parenthesis, and then x minus 4 in the second parenthesis, because again it's the opposite of our intercept. So then from here we have found p and q, so we really just need to find our a value, and we're going to do that by using this additional point, because this combination of x and y needs to work inside of our equation. So we're going to substitute negative 12 in for y, and then we're going to substitute 5 in for x. So if we rewrite this, we get negative 12 is equal to an a value times 5 minus 1 and 5 minus 4. So if we start with our order of operations here to simplify this, we need to do the parentheses first. We have negative 12 is equal to a times 4 times 1. Well, 4 times 1 is really 4. So this is negative 12 is equal to 4a. Divide both sides by 4, and we find our a value is equal to a negative 3. So now we have our a value here, so we can write our final equation in intercept form. So we have y equals negative 3. Then in parentheses, we have x minus 1 and x minus 4. So there is our intercept form. We can see we have our two x-intercepts of 1 and 4, and then we have an a value that we use this point to create, so that point of 5, negative 12 works in this equation. So one more example here. Again, we're given the x-intercepts, so we're going to start in intercept form, which is y equals a, x minus p, and x minus q. And remember, those minus p and minus q's just mean opposite of our intercepts. So here our intercepts are negative 6 and 2, so the values going into our equation are 6 and negative 2. So we have y equals a, and then we have x plus 6 and x minus 2. So remember, it's the opposite of our intercepts. So we've substituted our intercepts in here, and now all we need to do is find our a value. In order to find our a value, we're going to take the point provided and plug it into our equation in place of x and y. So we have 30 going in for y and negative 18 going in place of x. So if we rewrite this equation, we have 30 equals a, and then we have negative 18 plus 6 and negative 18 minus 2. So we follow the order of operations here. We have negative 18 plus 6, which is negative 12, and negative 18 minus 2, which is negative 20. Okay. Then from here, we need to multiply negative 12 and negative 20. Well, negative 12 and negative 20 become 240, so I have 240a here and a 30 over here. We then need to get a alone, so we divide each side by 240. So we end up with an a value that's equal to 30 over 240, but I know both of those are divisible by 30. So if I divide them both by 30, I end up with an a value that's equal to 1/8. So now I can go back to my original equation. I have my a value, I have a p, and I have a q. So my final equation is y equals 1/8 for a, and then x plus 6, the opposite of my first x-intercept, and x minus 2, which is the opposite of my second x-intercept.